Hi, this is Supercoder, and I will introduce the features in Supercoder's localization module and how to use it. Before we start, let's take a look at how Supercoder software itself is localized. You can see that Supercoder supports multiple languages, including Chinese, English, Japanese, etc. We use Supercoder software itself to manage its own localized content. We can try to translate a language first to see the effect. Click the Translate button and you can see that Japanese has been translated. It's very easy. Even so many languages can be managed and translated easily. Next, we will describe how you can use Supercoder's localization features in your projects to achieve the same effect. First, your project needs to support localization, but if it already does, you can ignore this operation. 1. Open Xcode and create a folder, for example named Local. 2. Use Command+N to create a Localizable.strings file. Note that the file name must be localizable. Then select the folder as local, click Create. 3. Select the newly created file. Click Localize on the right side. A localization file will be generated. Let's add another language. 4. Click Project. Click Add button. For example, we choose Simplified Chinese. 5. For the subsequent demonstration, we add some initial data. Before we use Supercoder for localization, let's talk about how we do localization ourselves. At this time, the project contains two languages, English and Chinese. English is the main language of the project. We will add key value pairs in English, such as key equals value. With the increase of adding key value pairs, problems gradually appear, such as for example, we often forget to add the semicolon at the end and only find it at the compilation stage of the project, which means that we encounter formatting problems. If at this time we need to translate the text in English into Chinese, we either have a professional translation team or use translation software for translation. Professional translation team most people and companies do not have. If we use translation software for translation, we need to translate one by one value. The time spent is unknown. As the translation language increases, for example, if you want to add support for Japanese, then you need to translate values in English to Japanese and Chinese. It is quite possible that you translate a value to Chinese but forget to translate it to Japanese. A translation omission occurs, which is very common, but it is very difficult for you to find out which value is missing. Next, we use Supercoder for localization. First of all, you need to create a project in Supercoder. Click the Add button at the bottom left corner. Enter the project name, project type, and select the file with the Xcode proj suffix. It should be noted that there are two loading methods here. One is manual loading and the other is automatic loading. The advantage of automatic loading is very obvious. It will not change with the project file structure, which means there is no need to manually select the localized file, while the manual loading must select the localized file. However, due to the sandbox limitation, the auto-load feature is only available in the non-App Store version. Here we demonstrate manual loading. Click the Add button and select the localization folder. Remember the local folder we just created. That's it. Click on Localizable.strings. At this point it will load out our initial data. Before we start, we need to select the source language of the project for translation into other languages. Let's add a new key value pair. Click the Add button at the top. Add the key value and comment. Click the Add button. At this time the page will show the added key value pair. We can also use the menu bar to add a key value pair. Check the localization icon in the settings. Click the icon in the menu bar and then add a new key value pair. Let's take a look at the Localizable.strings file in the project. The key value pairs have been added as well. Next, we do the translation. Click on the button in the upper right corner to expand it. And let us add several new languages. For example, we choose Japanese, Korean, Russian. At this point, the key value pairs under all languages except English are empty. When we want to translate a single value, click the Translate button in the corresponding position to complete the translation. When we want to translate for a value corresponding to a key into all languages, click the Translate button next to the key. At this time, these languages contain the translation of this value. When we want to translate a language, click the Translate button next to the corresponding language at the top of the list to complete the translation for that language. At this time, there are still many languages in the project that have not been translated. We can click the Translate button at the top. This button will translate all the untranslated languages. Click it and you can see that all the languages have been translated. Summarize. 1. Use SuperCoder to add key value pairs to avoid formatting errors caused by manual writing. 2. Using SuperCoder for translation can complete the translation of all languages in an instant, solving the problem of heavy translation workload. 3. Check through the list of SuperCoder to see which key value pairs have been translated and which have not been translated, so as to solve the problem of translation omissions. Hope you enjoy it.